Okay, so you should be able to see now on my screen here, title menu. This is what we're going to be looking at, breaking down, and making today. I'm going to go ahead and just show you the one that's already in place, and I'm not really going to bother just yet with building it up. I don't want to spend time on it. I'm a busy guy. I got stuff going on. So I'm going to very quickly show you exactly how it's connected up, how it's running. I'm going to explain to you how it's working. And from that, you should be able to make your own. So this is not my own design, by the way. This isn't something I came up with. This is something that I found somewhere else. So sorry to whomever it is if I am not giving you credit for this, but yeah, we're not here for that. We're here to just figure out how to do it, right? So I'm gonna break down how exactly this works. So first, let's hop in. Let's go to the event graph. So where are we? Right now, we're inside of our widget actor. So if you wanted to do this, you can come make widget blueprint, user interface, widget blueprint, and I guess we're just gonna make one after all, huh? Parent user widget class, because I don't think there's, yeah, we don't want to bother with any other stuff. So go with the parent class. I like to use an _W. It's just kind of a naming convention to kind of denote widget. I don't know if that's official or formal or what, but I'm gonna go W_, and we'll just call it test menu. So that is going to be the widget object itself. You can see there's another item here, a blueprint class for the actual actor in the scene itself. So the way this is broken down is there's an actual blueprint actor that's sitting in the scene. That blueprint actor is holding, of course, a reference to our 3D widget. Here, we just add a widget component. Add a widget component, blammo. Widget component goes in, simulating. With the widget component in, you're gonna come over here and you're gonna make a reference to, creeping up on the camera. You're gonna come over here and you're gonna make a reference to your test menu, whatever the widget class we just made is. So you can reference your, I don't wanna mess up the one I'm using for my game. So let me go over here. Let's fly over to this other wall. We're gonna throw down, not the widget itself. See the problem? This is what you're gonna run into if you're not working with an actual actor. So let's make the actor. We're gonna blueprint class, actor. We're gonna call this BP for blueprint, and we're gonna call it test menu actor. Bam. So this test menu actor is going to be where we add widget, Shazam, this widget, add a widget class, test menu, one we just made. So we've got our actor, blueprint actor, that's holding our widget. This widget is making a reference to our soon to be built test menu widget. So what do we want to do here? We want to have maybe a canvas. We'll add a canvas. Let's see, we probably want this to be just whatever the desired size is. We only want this object to stretch out in real space as big as necessary. So let's see, let's just add our text. So, and you can dress up this widget and format it however you want. If you go over here to mine and the designer, you see it's real simple. There's just canvas panel, vertical box. Inside the vertical box, I put two text objects, one for the title, one to hold a version number. And then under that, we have our scrolling message. So this is the text object that we're actually going to interact with. So that's what we're going to be making here, just this one. So we'll come here, make text object, and looks like my screen's a little goofed up, but you can see here we're looking for this text block. Taking this text block, bam, slapping it into the canvas panel. Text block, what do we want it to say? I don't know yet. So we'll leave it at, well, let's say, first I guess we have to make it a variable, right? So we'll come in here, make it a variable, and then we want to update the name. I'm gonna do t underscore for text, and let's call it, let's just say, thanks for playing. Thanks for playing. Dot, dot, dot. Oops. We want the variable name, not variable value. So variable name, scrolling text. Okay, so have the scrolling text variable. We're gonna go update this text block to just say, thank you for playing. Dot, dot, dot. Let's get this centered up. So we've got that a little bit more cleaned up. Let's first short unit check. We want to make sure everything we built so far is kosher and up to speed. So we can start debugging and troubleshooting up to this point if we've had any issues thus far. So in order to do that, we're going to go back into our world space. We know for sure just the actor should just display the widget. Simple as that. So not the widget, the blueprint for the test menu actor. We're going to drop that into the scene. And from that, we can see it's a pretty decent size, but not going to bother with sizing it right now. We're worried about the text. So it simply says, thank you for playing. So here's the good stuff. Here's what we click this video for. Yay! So let's take a peek at what we've got going on here. Okay. Now we're ready. Okay. So we get our widget. Inside the widget, constructor is going to kick off. When this constructor kicks off, pre-event construction, I think here in our test widget, we just get one of them bad boys. Blammo. So when this thing first kicks off, we're going to need a couple variables to work with. I'm going to reference them here. You see we've got a type speed, input text, displayed text, index, and then two actual references to the text object itself. And don't worry about this version number. This is something separate. This is the other text object that I'm looking into updating the version with dynamically, but not for today. For today, we're going to add type speed, input text, display text, and index as variables. So we're going to start with the type speed. We need a float. Call that type speed. Make it a float. Compile. This is we're going to need to compile in order to give it a default value. And that default value, we're going to give it as 0.2. You can adjust this default value later as you choose. That'll affect how quickly or slowly the text prints out. We're going to need input text, and I could copy paste this, but I'm building it up so you can see in more detail. We need input text and displayed text strings. So let's add that. Inputs, text, add display, displayed text, make both of these strings. So input text, I think we want that to be the actual text that's going to populate and fill out the scrolling, the scrolling effect. So right now I have just basically, let me close out of that. Let me close out of these ones. We're only going to deal with the ones for the test and the tutorial here. So here I've got the default text that says thank you for playing, but what we need is some text reference to be able to continuously repopulate this scrolling text with. So we're going to have this default text here, and we're going to add input text that will match this default text. So if we really want to be careful about it, I can come over here to the designer and copy paste exactly the text. But you just need to make sure whatever your input text is, let's make it the same here. So this is effectively what we want populating for the scrolling text. We want displayed text. This is a reference to what is currently being displayed during runtime. So we basically want this to stay blank. And let me double check that that's the case. Pretty sure we want that to stay blank. Let's open up the main guy here. Go over here, displayed text. Yeah, so we want that to stay blank. That's actually going to control as stuff comes in. And then we want a reference to our index. So bam, index, make that an integer, and we'll compile. That's going to have a value of 0. So we look back here, we can see we need to create some type of custom event to handle the timing and population of this to actually drive the mechanics. So on construction, we're going to add event. So the problem here is I tried dragging off this execution pin to find the add custom event. It wasn't off that. It was just right clicking and add custom event. So we create a custom event, and really, actually, I think what we needed to do with this timer was to set timer by event. That is what we needed. So we're going to set timer by event. The event is going to be our custom event, and we can name this custom event set, or we'll call it handle scrolling text. So we've got the scrolling text, and we want this to be a looping effect. Let's see the time on it. Did I give this a time? Does it have a time? No. Okay, so we don't need a time. We just need a reference to the type speed for the time. That's going to be our point 2. So we bring in the type speed. This is how often this should fire. So each time this event fires, it's going to populate a single character to our string. So that type speed is controlling how often this event is going to fire. We want this to fire every 0.2 seconds, so it's going to tick, 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 tick across the screen with the text. So, nothing to do there. So first thing we want to do is try to set our displayed text. So what are they doing here to do that? So first thing, we're getting a reference to the input text, and we're going to break that apart to get a character array from this string. So exactly that. We come here, grab our input text, get character array from string. So this is going to break whatever our input text is, what we want it to say, thank you for playing. It's going to break it down into individual characters as an array, and that allows us to interact with each of these individual characters. So after that, we're going to actually figure out what index we're currently on and get the character that's at that index. So we come here, we get whatever our current index is, which will start at 0, and we want to get a copy of whatever character, and maybe you could use this as a reference. I actually am not certain whether it's better to use this as a reference or copy. Maybe better to use it as a reference, but I haven't tested that, so I don't want to commit that to you just yet. But we get the index we're working with, the reference to the character at that index, and we're going to append our currently displayed text, whatever's there. So to start with, there's nothing, and I'm holding control to control and click and drag this. So we want to set text. No, I lied. We want to append. So we want to take whatever's in the current text and append to it that single character. That single character we will add by setting displayed text. So I hold Alt, click and drag displayed text, and we set our displayed text to whatever index 0 of input text, which is the T. And thank you for playing. We input the T. Bam. So T gets pasted, but it's only being pasted to this variable object. It's not actually being input to the widget object itself. So this is the actual reference to that text object variable. Okay, let me make sense of that. We want to take the scrolling text variable that we made here. We want to control, click and drag, and that gives us a reference to this text field in our widget menu with a reference to that text field in this widget menu. We want to set text right here, widget set text, and we want to set what's displayed on the screen to the variable called displayed text. So we have a variable to track what should currently be on the screen, and then we have what's actually on the screen. Let me save and compile. So after that, we've already appended our single character. We need to update our index. So we index ++, control click index, off here, ++ on the keyboard, increment index, like so, blam. Okay. So we've incremented the index. Now our index is looking at next character. Next character is the H, and thank you for playing. So we've pasted the T. We're currently moving index to the H. What we're going to do is check if our input text, which we had a reference to it back here, maybe if you want to save this as a variable, you can do that. Maybe the performance is minimal. What you're going to deal with right here is you take this input text, get the character array from the string. Okay, so right now we just need to double check if, since we've incremented the index, we need to arbitrarily look and see if we're at the end of our displayed text, our input text. And like I mentioned about the optimization, you can take that effort upon yourself. Instead, I'm just going to very quickly make a copy of this. Could save this as a variable, you know, whatever. Let's get a reference to this. We want to check the length, and we want to see if the length is equal to the index, which is happening right here. So we take the value of our index equal, pass in the length of the input text, and we say effectively, are we at the end of our input text, our desired input text? Did we input the last character we care about? If the answer is yes, we're going to do some stuff. If the answer is no, this is going to fire off again in 0.2 seconds, add the next character. So that'll continue until we've reached the end of the index. So once all thank you for playing has been posted to this string, It's going to check and see if we've reached the end. If we've reached the end, that stuff we're going to do is clearing everything out and resetting our messages. So what I want to do here is have a small delay. This delay is for readability. So this is after your whole message is onto the screen. How long should that message just sit there before we start typing a new message? So I'll say 3 seconds. We're just going to chill. And after 3 seconds, I want to reset the displayed text and the index. So I'll come here, I'll get a reference to index, get a reference to displayed text. Wrong reference. We're going to hold Alt, get index, hold Alt, and get displayed text. And get the other trash out of here. So we set the index back to 0. The index, is incrementing through our array. So this is essentially taking our incrementation, our incrementer, back to the beginning. Displayed text, we're gonna wipe it out, clear it out, send it back to the beginning. So our displayed text cleared out. So now we want to change what our input text is, our new input text. And here you can get creative and start to do whatever you want. You can have just a single message. You can do like I've got here with flip-flops, where you can alternate between messages. Whatever you want to do. Add some logic here. So what I've got here is a flip-flop. We're going to flip-flop. The first thing that was displayed, and I'm going to change the input text here. I'm going to hold Alt, click and drag. So we're going to change our input text to 1, Control D, to 1 or 2 different objects. So the first time it goes through, it's going to take whatever our input text variable is, which is thank you for playing. Thank you for playing is going to print to the screen, wipe out. The next thing that pops up is going to be this top box here. And it will say, don't forget to have fun. And then after it prints, don't forget to have fun, it'll wait 3 seconds, wipe out and clear. Then the new message could go back to thanks for playing. Just like that. So we compile, save. Let's go to the designer. Cash money. All right. So I guess like everybody says, you know what to do. If you want more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. I plan on making some more content, doing a little bit of tutorials, doing a little bit of some devlogs, more online stuff with Unreal Engine. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, if you're doing any VR work in Unreal Engine, if you just like game development and general game programming, you just want to make games or see what goes into making games, I'm your Huckleberry. Thanks for watching.